Ruston, Louisiana. I was born and raised there. Spent the first 28 years of my life there.
And what was the most memorable thing about being from Ruston, Louisiana?
Being a part of a large family. I miss that a little bit. Some of the most memorable things was when my cousins, I grew up with cousins, with cousins. I lived in a home where 14 of us kids lived together. And the most memorable time is when my dad would cook out in the backyard, and me and my cousins would just have so much fun. I call it the Caldwell's Backyard Cook-Off. You know, we were the most popular kids on the block. My grandmother and grandfather lived kind of like across the path, you know, so they were a big part of our lives. I really miss having that extended family connection when I moved away from it.
And how did you find your way from Ruston, Louisiana to Stephenville, Texas and Charleston State University?
I bypassed the Stephenville area when we first moved to Texas. My husband and I have been married for 34 years. And I moved, well, no, let me correct. We've been together for 34 years. We've been married for 31 years. When we married, we moved to Pecos, Texas. Pecos, Texas is located out close to El Paso, Texas, West Texas area, on the other side of Midland, Odessa. And we lived there for 13 years. And then we came back this way, bypass San Angelo. And we lived in a small town called Mertzon, Texas. We lived there for a year. We moved away from Mertzon, Texas, and moved to Stephenville. We moved actually to Dublin, Texas, where my husband got a job as a counselor there at the high school in Dublin, Texas. So by way of Stephenville, I came to Stephenville, to Tarleton, by going back to school as a non-trad student. So that's the way we ended up back. I call it a fishing hook. We did the fishing hook from Louisiana and went to far west Texas and came back up to Stephenville.
Okay. And what is your official title here at Charleston?
My official title is I'm the Transition and Family Relations Director.
And what does that entail?
Transition and Family Relations Director came about because when I first got hired, I was the parent, I don't know if you know this, I was the Parent Relations Coordinator. And that's when the university was first deciding to just have a program just for parents and helping parents to transition with their students to college by giving them all the information they need to make sure that their students is healthy. And then 4 years ago, at the time, we decided that, well, the university decided to combine the parents part with the first year experience. And so that's how Transition and Family Relations came about. And what I do is make sure that incoming students, all incoming students, have a smooth transition into Tarleton and their parents and families. Because with the No Child Left Behind, that's what I kind of give credit to parents being more involved in their students at a college level now. So I try to make that transition as smooth as possible for students and parents as they transition to college.
And do you work with any other student? Do you work with any student organizations on campus?
Yes, I'm an advisor for Student Sweethearts, JTAC Sweethearts, and that stands for the John Tarleton Agricultural College. That's what Tarleton used to be named when it first started, you know, because it was a small agricultural college back then. And so the JTAC Sweethearts has come about as an all-women's active spirit organization. So I'm their new advisor. I'm the advisor for 402. 402 is connected to our church that we attend, First Baptist Church here in Stephenville. And then I'm also an advisor for Paradigm. Paradigm is a faith-based ministry for students, and it's held on Thursday nights. And I'm also the advisor for our new student. We just renamed a student organization that was MSL, that stood for Minority Student Leaders, and that new that organization has been restructured and renamed for students who've come in and felt like they really didn't have a place. And now that the name of that organization is Black Excellence Association. And it's all, those organizations are all student run. All I do is kind of advise them on making sure they're following all the university protocol.
And what would you say would be the favorite part of your job with talking to parents, talking to first year students?
Oh my gosh. Let me think about that one, because I think if they run neck to neck, if I was running a race, they both would cross the finish line first. I would say talking with parents, because I have a heart for parents. I have a heart for parents because I feel like this is their first time really releasing their students to make some critical decisions that they've never really had to make before, and they're living on their own. When I say living on their own, they're not in the same dwelling of their house anymore. And that's huge for parents. That's a big step for parents. We're asking parents to trust us with your most prized possession. And we're going to help you with this. And we're going to help you with your investment into your students' life to get them to the next phase of their lives. And then, oh my gosh, students. I love working with students. Students just bring me so much joy. And I think that's a lot because I came from a large family. My mother was from a family of 13. And then my mother I have 6 brothers and sisters. There's 3 girls and 3 boys. I lived with my cousins, like I said earlier, and there was 14 of us in one house. So I really enjoy getting to know each student. I really enjoy making that personal connection with students. I really enjoy going the extra mile to make sure they know they get what they need to be successful in this path, because I didn't really have that growing up, and I know how critical these stages are in your life to making some lifetime decisions, So I would say the parents and the students, I just love it. I embrace it every morning. I feel like I'm a really lucky person here at Tarleton State University. Trayvon, I really feel like I got the best job on the campus. It's exciting. It's just really exciting because you're introducing people to some new lifetime experiences, at the same time lifetime challenges. I heard it put this way: college life is like a huge laboratory that you get to experiment in before you take that huge next commitment in your life.
And you earned the nickname Mama Towns or Mama T. How did that come about?
I think that came about 3 years ago or 2 years ago. I would say this last year it has really just like stuck. I've had a lot of my nieces and my close friends, small children, call me T for a really long time. And so when I started going off to duck camp, it kind of happened at duck camp. Duck camp is if you don't know about our duck camp, you really need to experience it, I feel like shouting out, duck camp, we love it, It's a really neat experience. It's a unique experience because it's where you can go and it's more intimate. It's a smaller group of students that get together, and we get to help them with transitions. We get to help them with traditions, the school spirit. What is the Proud Boys? Who is Pooh? What does all that mean? We get to help them connect with other students that they're not familiar with. We have students that come to Tarleton from all aspects of life. We have students who've never been around another ethnic group. We have students that's never been around a different social economic background. We have students that come in who was raised outside of the traditional home, which we think is the traditional home. We have students been raised with grandparents, with aunt and uncles, So a duck camp gives them a chance to really bond. It gives them a chance to really tell their individual stories. And at the same time, we teach them how to be a community in a different environment for the first time as a young adult, And then so I sat down one time. I would sit down at the end of duck camp, the last day of duck camp. And Mike Barnett, who heads up our duck camp with our students and everything, it's kind of like I'm really a guest at that time. And I sit down, and he said, Ms. Towns, is there any words you need to say to the students, before we dismiss? And I think 2 years ago, I kind of sat down amongst the students on the gym floor, and I said, I'm just going to give you this mama talk, you know, and I'm going to tell you some of the things your mom, your grandma, your aunt, your uncle would tell you as you prepare for this next level. And I think that's where it came from. And then everybody started calling me Mama T, you know, after that. And I embrace it. I truly do. People go, well, is that professional or is that true? I'm like, yeah, you know, I feel like I've met the ultimate professional level when they call me Mama T, because that means that it's some credibility out there that I wouldn't have got anywhere else.
Yes, ma'am. And you say